This was my winter project, restoring these motors to operation. Back in 1971 I bought my first Johnson 9.5 horsepower, and back in 2015 it developed some major problems, and my nephew encouraged me to go ahead and fix it myself. So with his help I got it done, and then last year someone gave me a 2 horsepower Johnson that wasn't running, 1984. I got that one all repaired, and that runs it beautifully. Now this year, this particular 4 horsepower right here is a 1969 Evinrude. A neighbor at the lake saw me running the 2 horsepower and said, "Hey, you want my old 4 horsepower?" Now it was missing a rewind. And you notice this one is missing a rewind. Well, I bought some junk motors just to get a new rewind part. And then when I got finished, I said, hey, maybe I can build a 3rd motor. So I got that. It's got a Johnson cover on it, but it's actually, I think, mostly Evinrude. And they're all about the same vintage, 1971, 74. The original Evinrude base on it was broken, so I used the Johnson parts for it instead. Now this Mercury over here is the subject of another story. It's a 1990. It's the first one I've done with a capacitive discharge ignition. There's no points. It needed a new coil and new electrics. You can see from the early video that if you look at that one, the wires are all chewed up. It was a total mess. But this Evinrude in the middle that I fixed, that was my first big job. I had to totally take it apart. It needed mystery oil to loosen up the cylinders because the pistons were frozen. There was rusted rings. I had to re-hone the cylinders, rebuild everything on it, and it runs beautifully, as you'll see in the video. I've taken the covers off of these 2 4 horsepowers, and you can see they look pretty much identical because they are of the same vintage. And there's the starter rewind that's missing on that one. There's all new spark plug wires, carburetors have been rebuilt, everything's been taken apart, the cooling system has all been cleaned out, and I thought I maybe had problems with the fuel pumps, but I ended up rebuilding them, and they look pretty good. And this is it, and the next part of the video you'll actually see the motors running. We are out here today with a 2.5 horsepower 1990 Mercury, which I have resurfaced. I've just tested out a little bit, and it seems like it's running pretty good. I've sort of boosted the horsepower up to 3.3, and it seems to be running fine. Let's give it a start. Adjusted the carburetor, but I think it's not bad. I'm currently running the 1969 4 horsepower that I rebuilt this winter, and it seems to be running really, really nice. I just got to pay attention where I'm driving so I don't run into the shore. Okay, heading out towards the channel. I've been adjusting the carburetor a little bit, and it seems to be idling absolutely beautiful. I can even talk over it. The Mercury that I was running before was a lot noisier. You can hear how nice and quiet this sounds. Now I'll speed it up and we'll see what happens. On this particular motor, I actually just ground down, refiled the points, checked the coils, made sure I had some decent coils in it, did the timing, everything else, and it seems to run absolutely beautiful. This is the third of the outboard motors. This was built from all spare parts that I had. I don't have a starter rewind on it, so I had to start it with a cord. The slow speed doesn't seem to be as smooth as the other one. I maybe have to adjust it. But it seems to run pretty decent. I'll show you.